What's up, you guys? Alright, we are in Oklahoma City. Currently heading westbound on 40, where the I-35 concurrency is. What I mean by I-35 concurrency is the part of I-40 where I-40 and I-35 are one and the same. Yeah, it's just a short distance here. We started talking right after I passed by the petrol truck stop. I'm currently at Bobtail. I'm going to be picking up a loaded trailer out of our Oklahoma City drop yard. And there was a little bit of a confusion here with this load. I'm not really sure what happened. I was told the driver was going to be bringing the load to our mothership, as I call it, the terminal in Sepulpa, Oklahoma, up by Tulsa. But yeah, and then they gave me an ETA of 21:45 this tonight. 21:45 came and went, and it got to about 10:30ish or 22:30 local time. And I started making inquiries like, hey, where's my load at? How come he's not here yet? And the DM started looking into it and ended up talking to the other driver. And apparently the other driver, from what he said, at least, he was told to drop it in the Oklahoma City drop yard and not in Sepulpa. I don't know if he was really told that, but that's what he was going with. There's the JCT coming the other way. So yeah, it kind of threw me off. Well, before I even got to that, though, I didn't know where the load was getting picked up. I just knew it was from a Tyson facility, but I didn't know which one. Well, I could tell you it was a Tyson load, really. I couldn't even tell you if it was actually getting picked up at a Tyson facility or a cold storage facility. But when you first looking at the system, whatever you want to say, they said he said that the guy was in Oklahoma City. I'm like, what the hell is he doing in Oklahoma City? If because he also had told me that he came from Olathe, Kansas. Now, Olathe is along I-35, not too far, I don't know, about 20-minute drive south of Kansas City area, I guess I would say, somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah, I could be wrong. It's in that ballpark, though. And to get over to Oklahoma City, it's a straight shot right down I-35. Now, to get to our terminal in Sepulpa, from Olathe, the typical way that I would go would be to take US 169 straight down from right there, right there by where the Tyson plant is. Yeah, that same intersection that's just east of the Tyson plant, and you got Tyson on 159th Street, and then right next to Tyson to the east is the Trans Am Trucking Company's terminal. Right at that intersection where Trans Am is, that corner where Trans Am is at, is US 169. You just go straight down 169 to the south, and you'll eventually end up in Tulsa. And then you can get on I-44 right there, westbound in Tulsa, to get over our terminal. The other way, even if you don't want to go that way, would be generally I-35 down, and I would say maybe to US 412, take it east, and then before you get to Tulsa, there's a highway, I think it's 48 if I remember right, something along that line. I want to say 48. Go south on it. That'll take you to Highway 33, and on Highway 33, just a little bit before you get to I-44 is where our terminal is. I need to slide over one lane. So, when he told me the other driver was in Oklahoma City, I'm like, what the hell is he doing there? Like, why would he even be over there? He's like, he totally bypassed it. Like, I thought maybe he just didn't want to give up the load or something, or whatever, and I was going to get screwed out of a pretty good load. You know, 16, almost 1,700 mile load. 1,650 plus mile load really is what it came out to. And it wasn't, you know, I got time to work with, but not an exorbitant amount of time, but not too tight on the time either, where I got to stress out about whether or not I can get there on time. So, yeah, I was looking forward to picking up this load. In fact, my buddy, my good friend Daniel Finney was parked right next to me there at the terminal most of the day. And he's actually got a load going to Americold in Victorville. Yeah, that one. The same one I park at when I'm home, and the same one I just delivered to myself the other day. Yeah, of course, I'd normally go right for that kind of a load, but you know, I'm trying to get the miles, get this truck paid off, get my maintenance account back up to zero and whatnot, and I just want to get miles. You know, and it's a good 350, maybe even 400 miles or so from basically from my place to. I'm gonna have to move over here. We're gonna end up getting off the highway Council Road, which is exit 142. It's gonna be where one of the TA truck stop is. There are two TAs here in town. One off of Council Road, exit 142. That's on the south side of I-40. And it's all by itself, really. And then exit 140, which is Morgan Road. There's a TA, Pilot, Loves, and Flying J all off that same exit. You know, two of them on the south side, two of them on the north side. And our drop yard is... you just go right past the TA on Council Road, and you'll go across a river. And on the other side of the river, there'll be a traffic light there. Turn right there, and then right down the street on the right side, you'll see the gate. You know, you'll see the entrance. There's a guard shack there. The lot actually belongs to Fry Miller Trucking Company. It's basically like a separate cantonment area. It's not actually united with where Fry Miller keeps their own equipment, but it belongs to Fry Miller, and it's adjacent to the lot that Fry Miller keeps their own trucks and trailers in. So that should help you out here. I have previously done a video of me at this yard. I think I called it Trailer Shuffle at the Oklahoma City drop yard or something along that line. So you can also check that one out. Got a little bit of shenanigans there. Alright, we got one more exit to go here. Rockwell Avenue here. That's I tend to know the exit names fairly well here in Oklahoma City, if not only because of my time in the Air Force. Every year I would come out here to OKC for conferences related to one of the airplanes I worked on. And, you know, and I got to know the area, especially, you know, I didn't normally drive my personal vehicle, but I usually had a rental vehicle, you know, and then we'd get around and, you know, go explore. You know, whether we'd go to the OKC Memorial, Bricktown area, or Cattleman Steakhouse. You know, it's just south of downtown, or just south of I-40. You know, a lot of stuff. There's a museum up, I can't even remember where exactly it was at. I know there was like a Discovery Museum or something like that I remember going to, and they had like this Chinese human body experience thing, whatever they call it. You know, where a bunch of Chinese people were, you know, their cadavers basically were used as an exhibition. You know, it's really actually to educate you on how the human body is set up. Like, you know, yeah, a lot of interesting stuff like that. So, yeah, I wouldn't say I know OKC extremely well, but yeah, I definitely know enough to get around, yeah, fairly decently for somebody who's not from here. Yeah, even without using GPS for the most part. Alright, so this is Council Road. When we get on the other side of the highway, you're going to see the TA on the right. Make sure he's not running a red light. Remember, guys, if you're a trucker, really if you're anybody, there's no excuse for being involved in a red light accident at an intersection like this. It doesn't matter who's at fault. If you're paying any attention at all, you should see the red light runner coming if you're the one with the green light. And especially with a truck, if you have a not at fault but preventable accident, yes, they do get classified like that. Yeah, you can actually lose your job. And even DOT, depending on how serious the crash is, they could possibly even suspend you. Suspend your CDL so you can't even drive for anybody for a certain amount of time, like maybe a month or two, whatever it is. Alright, so this light coming up here is where I'm going to turn. Now, if you're a JCT driver and you're coming here to this yard, or even anyone else who uses this drop yard, just know that the Google pin is not in the correct spot. I don't know about truck GPSs, but the pin is in the wrong spot on Google. I mean, it's in the right lot, I would say, but it's not in the ideal part of the lot to lead you to the correct location. Right up here by where that car just came out of is where I'm going to turn right. Make sure they wave me through or something. Hello.
What's your name?
Scott.
Last name?
Zane, Z-A-N-E.
And you gonna bring out a loaded one?
Correct.
Alright, you know where they're at?
Yep, sure do. Okay, so if you're a JCT driver, our trailers are right over the next row over that's facing the Fry Miller lot. Yeah, there's one right there. Let's see. Okay, it's the first one. There are 3 of them parked there. It's going to be the first one I get to. And you'll see right there on the right, on the other side of the fence on the right is the Fry Miller lot. You can see all their bobtails and all that. Further over are all their drop trailers. Remember this little rut thing here. kind of eyeballing the trailer as I'm passing by. Oops, started my turn too soon. I knew I would because of the slanted spot. I kind of have a certain way I start my turn. Now, if I'm going into a trailer that's perpendicular, get in here real quick and I'll explain it. Okay, so if I'm bobtailing and I'm wanting to back under a trailer that is perpendicular to my spot, what I normally do personally is right about when my hood mirror gets to the near side of my trailer, somewhere in that ballpark, maybe just a hair earlier, start my max turn and then just keep turning until I'm lined right up with the trailer. If I timed it right, I'll be literally straight in front of my trailer and I can just go straight back to it. And if you're practicing this yourself, let's just say you finding out that you're maybe too far to the left of the trailer or too far to the right when you do it, that's just a timing issue. All you have to do to fix that, if to line yourself up perfectly, is there are a few different things. One, drive slower or faster as you need. So if you're going too far down, slow down. If you're, there's, any one of these combinations of things can fix it. Or if you're ending up too far right, maybe speed up a little bit. Those are just options for the speed part. The next one would be, when do you start your turn? How far away from the trailer do you start your turn? If you start it too late, you're going to end up to the left. If you start it too early, you end up to the right. And then also with how fast you turn and how much steering input you put in. If you just take your sweeter time steering, you're going to end up further to the left. That's if you're approaching the trailer from the side, by the way. And then if you steer too fast, where your timing and speed might otherwise be okay, but if you just steer too fast for that setup there, you're going to end up to the right. So any kind of a little adjustment like that, one of those three, if you leave two of them constant and make an adjustment to one, the one other, that's all it takes to dial in your settings, as I would call it, to perfect your skills at lining up with a trailer, or even when you're backing into a spot. It's same there. Setting up a backing into a spot or door or something. You end up too far down that way, then it's the same concept. And then if you end up too far this way, it's also the same. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do a pre-trip here and hook up and all that, and we'll get out of here. Hopefully, it won't be tail heavy. I'm a little bit concerned about that. Tell you more about that on the way out, though. Alright guys, we're ready to roll here. Alright, so the BOL and the scale ticket that was included with it have assuaged my fears. Alright, so the load got... Oh, wait a minute. I don't want to be burning drive time going over to the... Come on. Okay. Yeah, I want to try to get a lot of miles out of this shift if I can, and I don't want to waste drive time needlessly. Even if it's only a couple of minutes, those couple of minutes could add up. Alright, so this load is only 22,000 pounds, and the closest pallet to the trailer doors is a pretty good distance up. Well, it's not like way up, but it's not super. It's nowhere near close to the trailer either, out to the door, whatever. Oh, wait a minute. I think I was supposed to. He says I'm good. Yeah, he just gave me a thumb up, so we're good. have to get my seatbelt on as soon as I get clear here. I think he, I think he let me go because he'd already got my name and all that. As long as he knew what empty trailer or which loaded trailer I was grabbing, because I told him I was grabbing a loaded. I don't know. I didn't pay any attention to what the other two trailers were like, or what was going on with those two. But so he might have already known that it was going to be this trailer that I was grabbing. Because normally they'll come out and get all the information, whatever. So, but the fact he didn't come out and he just gave me a thumb up from inside the shack. Yeah, we can put two and two together and figure out he probably already knows which, or he actually saw what trailer as I was coming up or something. All right, anyway, it looks like the other driver picked the load up from the Tyson facility in Olathe, Kansas. Now, I wasn't sure if it was actually Tyson that he picked it up from, or there's a new Lineage Logistics facility not that far away from the Tyson plant. It's actually right, I think it's right by I-35 and basically right across the freeway from the way station there in Olathe. I think they handle Tyson loads too, so I really couldn't have been sure which actual location he picked the load up from originally, but Tyson plant in Olathe, they have their own on-site scale, and they won't even let you leave the property until you get a scale ticket, and it has legal weights too. So there is that. But I've also known that Tyson plant to have a tendency to load tail heavy. And being I just going to California, I was a little bit concerned about that, but I forgot, they have, they wouldn't have even let the load off their property in the first place, more than likely, unless they had a problem with their scale, which I have seen happen before. Alright, anyway, you're probably, well, where's it going in California? It's going somewhere there, and it's going somewhere further out than my house. Yeah. So the answer to that is it is going to Tracy, California. So be good miles. I should be able to do it in 3 shifts, no problem. Even if I don't run very hard, but I'm going to try to run hard the first 2 shifts. And, because if I get all as far as I can today, I can make it to my house at the end of the next shift, and then I can just run it up from my house to the customer on the final leg. So that is what my goal is. I'm going to be caravanning with my buddy Daniel, same guy I was just talking about. He is actually on the Kilpatrick Turnpike right now. I'm going to end up meeting up with him over in El Reno at the Loves. Said he needs DEF. Actually, I could probably use DEF as well. I'm below half a tank of DEF. I ended up getting fuel from the service plaza there on Turner Turnpike, which is also known as I-44 in between Oklahoma City and Tulsa. It was only $5.09 a gallon there with my EFS card. Now, the best price I could find on in-network truck stops like Love's, Pilot, Flying J was the Love's over, the shithole Love's over there off of I-35 right by the Turner Kilpatrick Turnpikes in Edmond, $5.48 a gallon if I remember. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's what it was. So with the rebate, it would have been $5.33, and that was still a good 24-cent difference between what I actually paid at the service plaza and what I would have gotten there with the rebate factored in. All right. So So that's kind of in a nutshell what's going on here. Yeah, I want to try to keep these videos pretty reasonably short for you guys. And I think that was a pretty good update, I think, on what's happened since the last video. You guys saw the last video I delivered in Ochalata. And we ended up PCing back to our terminal after that. And and I just spent the day over there, really. So, alright, I did actually learn a couple little things about brake system as well, but I might talk, with the friend's brake a friend's problem with his brakes on his trailer not engaging enough, where he was able to slide his tandems once. Yeah, I guess he was able to slide them back. I mean, slide them forward, whatever. But he needed them to go back, and when he tried to slide them back, they wouldn't go back. The tires were rolling when they shouldn't have been. Generally, that's just a brake adjustment issue. And there was a brake adjustment problem there, but there were other underlying issues. And he had sent me pictures of all of his pads with the brake, because he first set them all with the brakes set. And there was one that kind of made me wonder about it. Then he sent pictures of all of the upper and lower brake pads with the brakes released. And there were some irregularities, I would say, between what the upper and lower pads were as far as the distances to the drums. It should be about the same distance, but it's not unusual where I'll see one where the upper pad is a larger distance away from the drum than the lower pad is. And and then I realized that if that's what's going on, it's probably worn bushings. Worn S-cam bushings are probably causing that. I wasn't really sure, but he did end up having a tech come over to his location to fix them up, or whatever, or try to fix them up. And the tech did confirm exactly what we were talking about, where we thought that it was probably S-cam bushings that was causing what we were seeing there. And he had a couple other things there, but it was interesting the way we put our heads together, especially because this guy, he's a good friend of mine. He's a really super smart guy as well. He's got prior diesel, I think it was our automotive maintenance experience. And he's one of those, probably one of the smartest guys I know outside of myself. I'm not trying to inflate get an ego trip or whatever. It's just I have an interest in intellectual stuff. Anybody can be as smart as I can, I think, but most people just don't want to apply themselves. I'm not the smartest guy in the world at everything there is. There's a lot of stuff I don't have an interest in and I would never know so much about. But anyway, I think you get the point. He has an interest in using his brain as well. That's why he and I get along so well, because we can always have good mentally stimulating conversations with each other. Plus, we're kind of wild and crazy guys in different ways. Anyway, alright, I'm not too far away from the Loves and El Reno. I'm not going to keep the video going all the way up until there. I just kind of, it's kind of a parting word thing there. For anybody who was paying attention, and if you're a trucker, maybe that information could help you out there with what I was just talking about with the brake system. Now that applies to drum brakes. Disc brake systems, which a lot of newer trailers have, including a lot of new JCT trailers. This trailer that I have right now has disc brakes, so it kind of goes out the window with that. I don't really know enough about how to really thoroughly and accurately inspect the disc brake system on a truck or trailer, because there's too much that you just can't see without taking the tires off. But anyway, that's all I have. I will more likely have my next video be the delivery. I'll be in Tracy, California at the Safeway Distribution Center. I have been there a few times before, and I believe I do have other videos on of me delivering there too. So we're going to check those out as well. Alright, well, you guys all have a great night. I appreciate you hanging out and watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.